The image of David Anthony Burke, better known to the world as the bedroom pop sensation D4D, was one of pure, unadulterated romanticism. In early 2025, he was the poster child for a new generation of DIY superstars, a kid who recorded multi-platinum hits in his sister's closet using nothing but an iPhone and a pair of wired earbuds. By the summer, he was standing on the Coachella stage alongside icons like Kali Uchis, representing the safe, wholesome alternative to a rap scene riddled with legal drama. But the silence that fell over his camp in late 2025 was not a creative hiatus or a calculated move to build hype for a new project. The reality is that the romantic king of Gen Z was caught at the center of a gruesome discovery that has not only halted his career, but has sent shockwaves through the entire music industry. While fans were expecting a 2026 world tour announcement, the reality behind the scenes was a high-stakes criminal investigation and a forensic trail that leads directly to the frunk of a high-end electric vehicle. Today, we are answering the three questions that have turned the romantic era into a total horror story. How did a decomposed body end up in a vehicle registered to one of the most successful rising stars in the world? Why did D4vd's legal team attempt to block the release of Tesla Telematics data for months during the peak of his career? And what is the real reason major labels and global brands like Crocs and Hollister are scrubbing his name from their 2026 rosters? We have mapped the entire timeline from his Coachella peak to the unsealed December 2025 grand jury proceedings, using forensic receipts to show you the hidden mechanism behind the most shocking downfall of the decade. This isn't just about a career crash. It is about a digital footprint that may have recorded a tragedy in real time, proving that even the most romantic stars have shadows they can't outrun. To understand how we got to this point, we have to look at the expectation that was carefully curated throughout 2024 and 2025. Per Perth Now on December 27, 2025, D4vd's rise was nothing short of meteoric. He was the safe artist, a homeschooled, humble creator whose music was synonymous with heartbreak and nostalgia. The common belief among his millions of Gen Z fans was that David was the ultimate good kid in a toxic industry. This was a narrative that his label, Darkroom Interscope, used to secure multi-million-dollar brand deals and high-profile collaborations with everyone from Linkin Park to SZA. He was the artist parents felt safe letting their kids listen to. His lyrics were clean, his aesthetic was indie prep, and his backstory was the quintessential American dream. However, the reality revealed in late 2025 tells a story of a star who was struggling to handle the sudden influx of wealth and the A-lister lifestyle that came with his Hollywood Hills transition. According to internal reports from his management team leaked in November 2025, there were growing concerns about the unnamed entourage David had begun surrounding himself with during his stay in Los Angeles. These weren't the childhood friends from Houston. These were high-level fixers and party promoters who specialized in keeping the darker side of fame under wraps. This discrepancy is point number one on our list because it highlights the classic PR motive: protect the innocent image at all costs, even when the reality on the ground is starting to crumble. The payout for this strategy was supposed to be a decade-long career as a pop mainstay, but that expectation was shattered when Los Angeles police made a discovery that no amount of PR spin could erase. The common belief among the public was that this was a case of a stolen vehicle or perhaps a tragic accident involving a third party who had borrowed the car. But the reality disclosed in the unsealed filings is far more complex and disturbing. According to the forensic receipts, the vehicle had been ticketed for a 72-hour parking violation in a secluded cul-de-sac in the Hollywood Hills on September 3, 2025. It sat there for days in the California sun until neighbors complained of a foul odor and flies swarming the front of the vehicle. When the car was finally impounded and searched on September 8th, investigators found the remains of Celeste inside a black industrial-strength plastic bag. The most chilling detail in the filing involves the Tesla Telematics, the high-tech data logs that record every movement, door opening, and weight change in the vehicle. The prosecution alleges that the car's internal sensors recorded the front trunk being accessed at a remote location just hours after Celeste was reported missing back in early 2024. Furthermore, the Sentry Mode footage, which usually records potential thieves, was found to have been manually disabled and erased during the 48-hour window surrounding the victim's disappearance. This isn't just a case of wrong place, wrong time. It is a digital receipt that suggests a deliberate attempt to hide evidence. This is why D4vd's social media went completely dark on September 7th, exactly one day after the body was officially identified by the coroner. The reality of the situation escalated when the victim's identity was confirmed. Celeste Rivas Hernandez wasn't just some random person. She was a 15-year-old from Lake Elsinore who had been missing since April 2024. Per The Guardian on September 29, 2025, the link between the artist and the victim was not just through the car registration. This specific receipt is the most damaging piece of evidence in the entire saga. The Shhh tattoo is visible in several of D4vd's most popular music videos and social media posts, turning his signature artistic branding into a potential forensic link to a missing person. While fans were streaming romantic homicide, a literal death of a relationship, a real-life tragedy was allegedly unfolding behind the scenes. According to reports from TMZ in November 2025, law enforcement sources indicated that Burke was moved from a person of interest to a primary suspect as the investigation shifted from circumstantial to forensic. The family of Celeste Rivas Hernandez has since come forward, claiming that their daughter had been obsessed with the singer and had allegedly met him at a private meet and greet before disappearing. The fourth major shock involves the immediate and total collapse of D4vd's commercial empire. In the music industry, the A-lister shield usually provides some level of protection, but when a case involves a minor and a body in the boot, that shield evaporates. According to Vice and Billboard on December 30th, 2025, the fallout was the fastest in modern music history. Crocs and Hollister, who had just launched D4vd collections for the back-to-school season, pulled all inventory from shelves within 48 hours of the September 17th report. EA Sports made the unprecedented move to patch Madden NFL 26 to remove his tracks from the soundtrack, citing brand safety protocols. The Withered World Tour, which was projected to gross over $35 million in 2026, was canceled mid-run. Venues like the Greek Theater in LA and the Warfield in San Francisco issued immediate refunds, citing unforeseen legal circumstances. This created a massive bottleneck for his revenue. The projected earnings for his 2025-2026 cycle were estimated to over $50 million when accounting for streaming royalties, touring, and merchandising. That valuation has effectively dropped to zero. The expectation was a victory lap for a young legend. The reality was a forensic team in hazmat suits carrying bags of evidence out of his $4 million mansion. As we reached the end of December 2025, the case took another dark turn that suggests the silence from the music industry is an attempt to cover up a much larger network. Per KFI AM 640 and the Los Angeles Times, a grand jury was convened to hear testimony regarding the potential dismemberment and movement of the victim's remains. The reality revealed in these proceedings is that investigators believe Burke may not have acted alone. Expert POV from criminal defense attorneys suggests that the prosecution is building a case for accessory after the fact, or even first-degree murder, based on the theory that Celeste may have died months earlier, possibly in the spring of 2025, and her body was moved multiple times using different vehicles in his fleet. The most harrowing receipt to come out of the grand jury was the discovery of a burn cage and remnants of personal belongings at a property previously leased under a shell company linked to his management. This is significant because it suggests a level of premeditation and cleaning that goes far beyond a tragic accident. The A-lister shield that usually protects young stars is failing here because the evidence is tied to Tesla's proprietary data. Unlike a standard vehicle, every mile driven, every time the trunk was opened, and even the weight distribution on the seats was time-stamped and GPS located. The logs allegedly show the Tesla making multiple trips between his LA home and the desert location during a period when David was supposedly rehearsing for his tour. Behind the scenes, the industry is dealing with the fallout of the D4vd disclosure. According to a report by The Hollywood Reporter in late December 2025, major labels have started an emergency audit of their rising Gen Z talent. The common belief is that David was an isolated case, but the reality is that the bedroom pop scene has been a breeding ground for unregulated fan-star interactions. We're seeing a sudden wave of neutral statements from former collaborators. Kali Uchis and TV Girl, who both shared stages with him in 2025, have scrubbed their social media of any photos with the artist. The reality is that the music industry is bracing for a Diddy-style fallout, where the investigation into one artist leads to a wider probe into the people who facilitated these private parties and secret relationships. D4vd's silence is being interpreted by legal experts as a strategic lockdown. If he talks, he doesn't just implicate himself, he potentially implicates the executives and fixers who helped maintain the good kid image while a body was allegedly being moved in a company-leased vehicle. The final piece of the 2025 puzzle is the streaming ghosting. According to Rolling Stone, Spotify and Apple Music have been under immense pressure to remove his catalog entirely. While his music remains available for now, it has been removed from all editorial playlists. The expectation was that Romantic Homicide would be a generational anthem. The reality is that it is now a chilling reminder of a case that has redefined the dark side of fame. The final takeaway from the D4vd saga of 2025 is that we're witnessing the total dismantling of a legacy. We saw a young man go from a closet in Houston to a global stage, only to find himself trapped in a legal nightmare that could lead to a permanent end to his freedom. The $50 million expectation of his career trajectory is now a $0 reality, as his contracts are terminated and his music is ghosted by the algorithm. The silence wasn't a choice, it was a cage. And as the 2026 trial date approaches, the romantic lyrics of the past are being replaced by the cold, hard data of a forensic report. The king of bedroom pop has found himself in a room that he cannot record his way out of. The legal system is slow, but the Tesla receipts are permanent. While the world waits for an official indictment, the music industry has already moved on, scrubbing the Romantic Homicide singer from the history books before the final verdict is even read. The reality we uncovered today shows that the money, the missing girl, and the matching tattoos are all part of a larger story about the loss of accountability in the age of the superstar shield. If you want to understand the secret playbook being used to protect the other names mentioned in the unsealed grand jury transcripts, including a certain high-level executive who allegedly authorized the desert lease, you need to head over to our Industry Purge playlist right now. We are connecting the dots between these forensic logs and the massive wave of early retirements happening across Hollywood. The D4vd discovery was the leak, but the flood is coming. Don't wait for the news to tell you what's happening. Look at the receipts yourself in our next video.